The 2022 base model Bronco is one of the best values you can buy on the market today. Don't believe me? Take the keys. See for yourself. As the music cuts, we make our way to the front of the Bronco where we lay witness to the full LED headlights that grace the base model. LED low beams, high beams, and turn signals, and this car actually has an auto high beam functionality that works remarkably well, better than my Tesla Model 3. Underneath on the bumper, we have two tow hooks, which is a great touch for off-roading, and the hood has two of these mounts that you can use for a variety of things, but if I'm being honest, they set the look of this Bronco off just right, because those, in addition to these steelies, means we have a Bronco that is the most reminiscent in terms of spec and configuration to the Bronco that you remember from the 90s, from the 80s, from before that. As we round our way to the mirror, while we don't have any blind spot indicator system, this mirror-in-mirror setup in this heated mirror really does make the need for that kind of useless. And because we have the Bronco, the mirror is mounted to the body, so if you take those doors off, you still have mirrors, which is nice. As we round our way to the back, the buck really stopped there in terms of where Ford put some effort into this base model. These taillights are run-of-the-mill. This bumper is nothing special. There's one tow hook. We don't got a lot going on back here in this Ford Bronco to really, get excited about. The front, we had full LED headlights, LED blinkers, LED high beams, but back here we don't have any of that. It's very run-of-the-mill, and this is a reminder that you have the base model Bronco. In fact, in order to get anything other than these taillights, you really do have to step it up. But as we get inside, let's take a look at the Maroni so I can show you guys that this is a true base model Bronco. We don't have any options on this bad Larry. For a sticker price of $32,895, this is everything you get. And look at this, the optional 16-inch wheels, no charge because they're standard. So this is truly a bog standard Ford Bronco with nothing. Outside, you get those fender tie-down hooks that we showed, the grille, the headlamps, all that jazz. Inside, you get a bunch of stuff that we're about to go over, but if you want to pause it at any point here so you can go over the specific features, definitely do so. Now, the Ford Bronco, even in the base model, comes with one-touch up and down windows and power mirrors. While I wish the location of those switches was different, and you can see more of that in my top 5 dislikes of the Ford Bronco video, the fact that we have one-touch up and down is great. The base model Bronco has single zone manual climate, so you're not going to be getting any automatic function here, but the buttons on this system work remarkably well. You have auto stop start button on off there, you have volume knobs, tuning knobs, and the ability to configure this. Honestly, it's really easy. I wish there was an automated function, but that's okay. The steering wheel shows off the fact that we have cruise control here, and it's a basic cruise control, as you can see by those two dead buttons. That would be where the adaptive and radar cruise control comes into play. You have Bluetooth for your phone on the right there. Those 3 arrows control the digital display, and then you have volume and tune tracks on this steering wheel. Overall, really great layout, and these are physical buttons, which makes it easy to use. The base model also has 2 screens, the first of which is a digital gauge cluster, which is highly configurable. You can see here as I cycle through the modes, you can see everything from tire pressure to boost, to temperature, to fuel economy, or you can just set it as calm screen where it makes the overall display even larger, allowing for it to be even more legible than it already is. In addition to that screen, we get this guy right here, which is an 8-inch screen with Sync 4 and wireless Apple CarPlay and wireless Android Auto. This is great to have, and it's something that I've never had before. I've owned vehicles $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 for the price tag, but this $33,000 Bronco has wireless Android Auto and wireless Apple CarPlay, which is great. Push to start button button on the dash, and the key is very, very basic. Standard fare here for this standard transmission Bronco. You got lock, unlock, and you got panic. There's no keyless entry here, so you really got to use this key at all times, or the My Ford Pass app. Now, the molded in color hardtop that comes with the two-door Bronco, standard, you actually get the sound deadening option, okay? So you check that off instantly by going with the two-door Bronco, which is great because it definitely helps dampen some of that noise on the road. Now, it doesn't dampen all of it. This is still a very noisy car on the highway, but it does help. Looking on top of that infotainment screen, you see only two buttons here. We got one for the hazard, one for the traction control. If you had a more optioned out Bronco, you'd see things like tank turn and some other things like sway bar disconnect. Up here, we don't have the auxiliary switches, so because of that, we have the sunglass holder. You have a little microphone there for phone calls and things. The back is also nothing special. This is a two-door Bronco, so we have a relatively small trunk space. There's no frills, no thrills back here. You get one light on the right with a 12 volt to help you out. Maybe you need to plug in an accessory or something like that. But other than that, in that little cubby space, not really much going on here to write home about. Now, if you need more space back here in the two-door and you don't have any passengers, you just pull that and throw the seat right down, and you see, while it doesn't lie completely flat, you do have a little more space back here for larger items. Because I am just a married man with no kids, I can keep these seats down at all times and just leverage the added space. Back seat of the Bronco also has no frills. You got two cup holders, you got a warning not to step on that center console, and you got a USB-C. For the low $30,000 range, it's really tough to beat what the base model Ford Bronco has to offer. No, you're not getting heated seats, adaptive cruise, or any of that funky, jazzy off-road stuff the higher tier Bronco stuff has, but you don't really need it to have a pleasant experience in this car. I'm Money Shift. This is the base model 2022 Ford Bronco overview. If you guys have any more questions about the base model specifically, let me know in the comments and I'll try to answer them. See you soon.